Welcome to an Alternate Hue. I'm Hugh Anderson, and welcome to the first year of the rest of our lives. A recent paper published by the National Bureau of Economic Research analyzed over 1 billion, with a B, newspaper articles from the past 200 years to reach an interesting conclusion. Economic sentiment predicts GDP very well, and the effect is getting stronger with time. What this means is how we feel now predicts how the economy will do going forward. This adds additional credibility to so-called leading indicators. It also might tell where the economy is going in 2024, given the national mood. Now, anybody remember smell-o-vision? Well, it's coming to a cell phone near you. A startup called Mobile Physics has developed a technology that may be able to detect air quality and smoke levels near the person carrying the phone, and is coming to the Android phone platform soon. Air pollution is becoming a more urgent health issue for many amid a changing climate, according to the developers. The technology uses the phone's existing sensors to measure air quality, smoke levels, temperature, and UV exposure. Aha! Maybe I can reduce my sunscreen consumption. If the technology detects something worrisome, it alerts the user in real time, effectively functioning as a smoke detector or fire alarm that's constantly running in the background. Now, I've said many times on prior videos, the great middle class in the U.S. has gotten a proverbial shaft since the 1970s. The return to those providing the capital has far exceeded the return to those providing the labor, until now. As numerous major contract settlements have made headlines over the last year, it appears it's labor's turn to get more of the economic pie. Wage increases are showing signs of finally exceeding the ever-rising cost of living. Take a look. And perhaps a restoration of middle-class wealth may begin to restore some semblance of balance to who owns all the public equity available for investing. Wealth is created when wealth is saved and invested. Now, this from our friends at Strategas. Merger and acquisition activity in 2023 dropped to its lowest level in 10 years, while private equity exits were reported to be down by a stunning 40%. That means private company transactions where one company sells the private company to another, so they can free up cash to reinvest or do something with. Now, pressure from private equity investors for the distributions and the need to make room for new fundraising may prompt sponsors to start selling their holdings at prices that might have seemed unthinkable when real long-term rates were near zero. It would be hard to imagine an industry that benefited more from quantitative easing than private equity. Bottom line, the massive amount of capital invested in private markets when it costs virtually nothing to invest may now see significant markdowns in valuations in the period ahead. Now, the new year brings us a new generational cohort. That's right, let me introduce you to Generation Alpha, the first entirely online generation, and one shaped by a pandemic, climate crisis, and more, according to April Rubin of Axios. Gen Alpha was born between 2010 and 2024 and is expected to be the largest in history, with more than 2 billion people, per Mark McCrindle, a social researcher who coined Generation Alpha and determined its bounds. Now, technologies like social media and AI are shaping Gen Alpha's lives, habits, and worldview. Siri and Alexa have been in their parents' pockets or homes for most of these kids' lives, while they're using generative AI tools like ChatGPT as a learning tool. This generation also has TikTok as a growing platform of choice. Unlike millennials' pre-algorithm Facebook, TikTok repeatedly exposes users to anyone and everyone rather than just networks of friends and family. They're having a media-centric childhood in a way that is different because of the kinds of media they're interacting with from incredibly young ages, according to McCrindle. Millennial parents are giving their Gen Alpha kids smartphones at about the age of 9. The pandemic cemented online interaction as a norm for Gen Alpha. Many attended virtual school, while a larger share of parents now work from home at least some of the time as a byproduct of the pandemic. Kids' anxieties about social issues, including climate change, is rising. They're having a hard time disconnecting from the torrents of information, causing higher risks for burnout for the things that are important to them, according to experts. Now, if you can identify these two technologies at a glance, congratulations. That's right, boomers, Gen Xers, and elder millennials are now the last people who know what it's like to use a paper map, many times at 65 miles an hour, a typewriter, or a payphone. Remember sticking one of these lovely hygienic instruments up to your ear? That crowd is now being rapidly outnumbered by younger people such as the aforementioned Gen Alpha. There's a growing fascination among these digital natives in how people socialized, found where they were going, and got things done before the 1990s. Vintage shows, that's right, vintage shows like Friends, are giving them a window into that prehistoric world. So let your fingers do the walking. Until next time, I'm Hugh Anderson, wishing you a very happy 2024 with much health and prosperity. Until next time.